Hello. If you're watching this, that means you're a youth leader in Elevation Youth, and I wanted to get in front of everyone for just a few minutes and walk you through something that we're really excited about trying at this upcoming March Rhythm Night in like a week. So I wanted to make sure that you had some vision, you had some understanding earlier than normal. Tim's still going to send out a video like walking you through what your curriculum is going to look like because it's shifting a little bit. I'm excited. So I want to first give you an overview of what this is going to look like, and then I'm going to break it down to actually how does this apply to you and what does it look like for you at this upcoming Rhythm Night. In case you don't know, the win of a Rhythm Night is adding new youth into groups, and that's it. We want new youth in groups. So it's a big evangelical push for our connected youth to invite their friends, bring them in, and the goal is that they come back to your group either at Rhythm Nights, or the real win is that they're coming back weekly and meeting in your groups as well. So we started analyzing the current VIP experience. If the win is for the new people to get connected, as a staff, we've really been talking about how effective are we right now at making this an experience where new people feel like they belong, like, oh, I really want to be in this group after this event, you know? And we've been going through this book together. We'll talk about that more at Gatekeepers. You better be at Gatekeepers because this is like a whole mental model shift for us. I'll tell you more about that there. I'm going to focus on Rhythm Night. But we've been going through this book, and it's unpacking the psychology of how we as humans actually remember certain events or certain moments in our life. And there's this concept called the peak end rule. So you could have one entire experience with lots of great things, but if there's not a moment that's elevated above everything else that kind of stands out in your memory of a positive experience, and if you don't end on a positive experience, really that ending can play a huge role in how your mind perceives and remembers the event. So think about a person who comes in for the first time. They come into the pre-party, and for some it's super overwhelming and it's awesome, and they feel like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of fun. Like that feels like a really great experience for them. We've got a peek in there. That's awesome. Then we go into watching the video. They're learning things. Then they go into group time, which for somebody who's brand new, that is probably the most awkward time because now they're siloed in, like you're being asked all of these deep questions. We're trying to dig deep and get them to open up. And they leave with this impression of like, oh, okay, like, I mean, yeah, that was kind of weird. I think I like it maybe. So we don't want to end on an awkward. It's going to be awkward no matter what for someone new going to a group. So for this Rhythm Night, we want to end on a high. We want to end on the fun. And yes, from our perspective, group time is a high. For our connected youth, group time is a high because they're already invested in your group. But if the win of a Rhythm Night is for new people to assimilate into new groups, we want to try and mix up the flow a little bit and see if we can be even more effective in that. So we're going to flip the flow. Pastor's sermon, hopefully you heard that whole series. We're going to flip the flow of Rhythm Night. So instead of group time being at the end of the night, after youth check in, they're going to come straight to your group. You're going to have group time straight off the bat. Don't freak out on me. I'll dig a little bit deeper here at the end on what that looks like. Group first. Then we're going to watch the video. And then after the video, we are going to go into the party. So instead of pre-party, it's going to be after party. Here's why. If you think about the current flow of the VIP, if group time is a win because we're actually able to know their name, we learn a little bit about them, in the way we've been doing Rhythm Nights, that happens at the very end of the night. So they could potentially be going through the majority of the event not really feeling noticed, not really feeling known. Now, for this Rhythm Night at least, we may not do this forever. We're at least going to try it. If it don't work, we can go back. Like, we're going to experiment. We're going to have fun. But now they walk into group time. Yeah, it's awkward a little bit. They're not leaving on the awkward this time, but they become a somebody as soon as they walk in the door. Oh gosh, someone knows my name. Someone knows who I am. They know a little bit about me. And then by the time we get to the after party, now they actually know a couple of people. They've talked a little bit about some real stuff. And then they're actually able to build memories with people that they've already met and who actually know them at that point. So we're going to try it. I'm really, really excited. Let me now zoom in on what this group time looks like for you, because some of you, as soon as I said we're doing group first, teleported to a completely different room in the building. That's what happens when you don't reserve the room when you're recording your video and then you get kicked out. Anyways, I'm going to continue. Some of you, when I said we're going to be doing group time at the beginning of Rhythm Night, you might be freaking out a little bit because you're smart. You're really, really smart. Because you know that right now, the way that we have questions are designed to talk about the video that we just watched. And so you might be thinking, Chelsea, how are we going to have anything to talk about if we haven't seen the video yet? Ha ha! We're going to give you something to talk about before the video. So the win of this group time is going to look completely different. Before, you were trying to unpack what they saw. Now, your goal is to actually introduce the topic, introduce the tension, and really, it's actually going to be a great time for you to get a pulse on what do youth in your group already know about the topic, and what do they already believe. So, we're going to have chill time after they check in. They're going to find their way to your group. We're going to have food for you. So already that's a plus in your group. It'll be casual as people are trickling in, and there's going to be actual downtime intentionally. Just connect with them. Don't feel the pressure to have it feel super structured as soon as they show up. Just hang out, wait till everyone gets there, and we'll give you an actual starting time of when you need to start with the icebreakers. Then we're going to have icebreakers. They're going to be literally just teasing the topic, introducing this idea. This month for Rhythm Night, we are talking about the gospel. We are talking about who is Jesus? What did Jesus come to do? And how does it apply in my life? And a sticky phrase, the hook that we're using for this is saint or sinner. Sinner or saint. Tim will give you specifics. We're working on the video right now, but we're using the terms of sinner and saint. So one of the icebreakers that we're playing around with, not finalized yet, but we're going to actually introduce the idea and have them give a thumbs up or thumbs down of, I'm going to give you a quote. Do you think this was a sinner or do you think this was a saint? Vice versa. So here's an example of a quote that they might have to say. Thumbs up if you think it was a saint, thumbs down if you think it was a sinner. Are you ready? You can play this along with me right now too. Here's a quote. If you can't feed 100 people, then feed just one. Was it a sinner or was it a saint? And they're probably going to say it was a saint, but it was actually a sinner known as Mother Teresa. And so the whole goal is to flip their perspective on what you think is a sinner, what you think is a saint, might not necessarily be what it is. So we're already breaking the paradigm of what they thought they knew, and now we're introducing this tension of oh, I never thought of it like that. Then we are going to have some discussion where the goal of this is for you to actually give them space to talk about, what do I think I know? What do other people around me know? Questions like, hey, when was the first time that you heard about God? First time you heard about Jesus? If you had to tell someone who Jesus is, what would you say? Then you can say something like, what's the weirdest question that you've ever heard about God? We're going to have a time where you can open the Bible. The meat of the video of what we're doing is we're actually going to be breaking down John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. It's a foundational belief that we have as Christians that we want to unpack. So we may even give you a time to say, all right, open your Bibles, pull out your phone. We're going to read this. Tell me what you think about it. This is actually, I'm really excited because I really see the potential of what this can do for our youth to already get them in a framework of thinking about this topic, and then we're able to unpack it in more detail in the video. After the video this month, we are going to be doing an invitation where we're actually going to be giving them the option to give their lives to Christ if they've never done that. I mean, we're talking about it. We've got to do it, you know? From there, we're going to be challenging them to invite their friends to Easter because, hey, now you've given your life to Christ. Maybe you've already given your life to Christ. There are other people in your life who need to know and hear about the gospel. Get them to Easter. That's where we're really going to be talking about it as well. So they're going to get invite packs, and they're going to be inviting their friends to Easter. After that, it's like, all right, let's have a party. Let's, fun, great. You are also going to be getting a normal list of discussion questions about the video just like you would every week. So now you've got two options or two pieces of curriculum. Here's where your options play in, and this is where you get to tailor it to the needs of your specific group. If you have a group that's super established and the hangout time, it makes sense to actually have some more serious conversation, you're going to have the tools to be able to do that during hangout time. If you have a group made of mostly new youth and it feels weird and they're not ready to unpack, or maybe you have just some one-on-one conversations of like, hey, what did you think about the video? What did you connect with the most? Use those questions as a framework for now how you can actually connect and really expose some deeper insight with your youth during the party time. Another thing that you can feel free to do is you can have those questions, and maybe you're not meeting for group that week, maybe you have a newer group, start a group text and you can start to ask some of those questions throughout the week so that you can keep this content living on. And I know we've heard many of you say that sometimes you still meet for group 2 or 3 days after rhythm night, but when you've already talked about the video, you have nothing to talk about. Well, now with these discussion questions, you can actually save them for group later that week and use them there. So we're doubling up on the resources that we're giving you for rhythm night. We're flipping the flow. Please, please join us. Get excited about this. Let your youth know a little bit of like, hey, this time for rhythm night, we're going to change some things up. You're going to come to group first. We're going to have food. We're going to have some fun. And then we're going to have a freaking party at the end of the night. Yeah, that's what I've got. If you have questions, comment them below on this video. I'm going to be watching this video and I can actually answer any questions that you have. You can reach out to your youth director for this. Yeah. Oh, one thing we're adding in the party piece, we want to add like a moment of surprise, an element of surprise, some like extra little like unexpected things. So be on the lookout for that. If you're on the rhythm night team planning it all, like, thanks for doing this. Thank you for leading. Even if you're not on the rhythm night planning coordinating team, literally we couldn't do rhythm nights without you, because the win of rhythm nights is you, your group. You are making such a huge difference just from showing up and being there. And I'm really excited. Let us know your feedback on the normal feedback form of how this works for your group. But the biggest thing I need you to know going into rhythm night is that the objective for group time is going to look completely different. So I just don't want you to be caught up in an old mental model of, well, it wasn't great because we couldn't talk about the video. No. We're resourcing you with ways you can still talk about the video afterwards, whether it's during the post party, whether it's sending out group texts, or if you keep meeting, using that there. So, like I said, let me know if you have questions. I know this was a longer video, but your youth directors were pretty passionate about making sure that I was able to communicate all of this early enough so that you weren't thrown off and surprised at rhythm night. So, love you guys. You're the best.